Hello, I am Kevin Garcia, and today we'll be presenting my project about how video games affect society. This might be a little boring to some of you, but I'll do my best to keep you engaged. So, what exactly am I talking about?
Hey, you! I mean me!
Wait, who said that?
You did! Except, I did!
Okay, I've officially gone crazy. Procrastinating on this project has made me lose it.
Step aside for a moment while I do the actual project. Using the power of video editing, I have implemented myself into the project for your enjoyment. Our first slide involves the brief explanation of what the heck I'm even talking about. You might think of my project as a terrible soup of broken ideas and mistakes, but that's because this is totally not all an improv. I've procrastinated for way too long. Video games, as you can see in the background of my video, are a fairly new addition to societies around the globe. At least if you consider the fact that video games really started becoming prominent during the mid-90s. Although they did exist earlier, starting even around the early 70s. But that's not what this is about. However, it is a good comparison point to probably start around the mid-90s because they start taking off at that point. Wait, pause! Before we continue, I'd like to mention a few details about the ESRB. It is an organization that was created in the mid-90s as a means to give video games age ratings to help consumers purchase games that are appropriate to younger audiences. The ESRB gives age ratings to video games that are released in the United States as well as Canada. However, in the past they've also done a few for Mexico. Other organizations exist for other regions around the world, such as PEGI for Europe and CERO for Japan. I may not be pronouncing that last one correctly.
Yeah, but what are the benefits of video games to society?
Well, off-screen person, that totally wasn't me with my hands doing this. I will explain that. Yeah. Video games allow for a large accessible source of entertainment for many people around the world. Especially in modern times with smartphones, because, come on, do you know anybody who does have a smartphone? As a joke, I'm very, very aware there are people around the world who don't have smartphones. Please, this is a joke. Some video games have been proven to help things such as hand-eye coordination, memory, and the ability to focus. People use sites like YouTube and Twitch to play, record/stream their gameplay for others to view. These viewers are able to watch and be entertained, while in some cases these creators are also able to make some money. And in some cases, people also make really good friends on online games. I have a few myself.
Okay, yeah, but what about the bad side that nobody likes to talk about?
Well, you say nobody, but that is incorrect entirely. But I will talk about it anyway. Every day, it feels like there are more controversies coming out about video games causing violence, or there being way too many microtransactions. The latter of the two being a lot more valid. Also, unfortunately, some people can get addicted to playing video games. Although the line of addiction and lots of game time is a little vague, it is a worst case scenario if it involves microtransactions. Also, being able to play games can be flat out expensive since you need to pay for a computer or a console, or in case it's computer, parts for one, which is really expensive. I mean, really expensive. In addition, a lot of bigger modern games can cost a minimum of $60, and in some cases upwards of $120. That's not even including microtransactions and a couple outliers. I should probably explain what I mean by microtransactions. Microtransactions can be described as additional in-game purchases using real money. These in-game purchases can range from things like cosmetics to full-on expansions and gambling. And unfortunately, in more recent times, it feels more like gambling. Video game companies are businesses, yes. I get that. They need to make money, but they also make games. However, it feels like in recent years, with the more bigger game companies such as EA, Ubisoft, Activision Blizzard, 2K, and a few other that I don't have the screen space to mention, have gotten a lot more scummier over the recent times. adding more and more microtransactions, things like loot boxes, and gambling in general. Putting integral features behind paywalls and potentially even worse than that. Another downside of ESRB is that in recent times, it feels like they began to ignore the problems such as microtransactions and gambling, giving games E-ratings, or ratings that allow minors, young people to play them, while still having gambling and loot boxes and unmoderated purchases. In recent times, these organizations have gone under some scrutiny, but it is yet to be said if anything ever comes from that. I am aware that I've made it sound like there were a lot more negatives than positives. However, I would like to mention that these problems of gambling are issues that are caused from these companies. Actual video, let's rephrase that actually. Real, good games that aren't slot machines with a different coat of paint are not the issue here. I probably should make that clear. And things like video game addiction can be controlled with moderation, and in some cases, it all depends on the person as well. But unfortunately, the one negative I can't defend is how expensive it can get. As owning an extensive library of games that can be ran on your systems, whether it's a computer or a game console, that can still be very expensive. Well, I think that's it. Special thanks to all the wonderful people next to me in the credits, as well as here's all my sources that I used to make this project. Can you believe I did all this in one day? It's not because I procrastinated or anything. Well, see you folks.